this is Bob Larson, author of Arranging for the Small Jazz Ensemble. I want to thank you for purchasing my book, and I hope you're enjoying it. I've developed some videos for the website that you're viewing now that I hope will allow you to enjoy the book even more. This first video covers the first 3 chapters where we talk about common song forms found in jazz and also texture. Chapter 1 covers 3 forms: the AABA song form, the ABAC song form, and the 12-bar blues. And before I go any further, I hope you have your book out and are following along. It's a little bit hard to see all the text on this PDF version of the book I have here on the screen. The AABA form, the letters here certainly imply exactly what's going on. We have an A melody, and the A melody is repeated, and then there's a contrasting bridge, and the A returns. It's a very common form. Common tunes are Take the A Train, Have You Met Miss Jones, What Is This Thing Called Love, and many, many, many others. We're going to take a listen to Stompin' at the Savoy, which is a good example of the AABA form. And you'll see here we have the A melody identified here, and notice we have a first and second ending. So of course this will be repeated. So there's your 2 A's, here's the contrasting bridge, and then here's the final A. It's labeled as C, but that's just a rehearsal letter. Okay, let's go ahead and take a listen. Okay, that was AABA form. Now let's talk about the ABAC form. And this form is sometimes best thought of as 2 16-measure halves. Each section, each portion of the melody is 8 bars in length. Just like, I didn't mention that before, just like in the AABA form. But here we have an A theme, 8 bars, and then a B, contrasting B theme, and then A returns. And then the C theme contrasts with B. Common tunes are I Left My Heart in San Francisco, Just Friends, Green Dolphin Street. And we're going to go ahead and listen to Embraceable You. Those of you with perfect pitch will notice that this is not the key that you're going to hear. And this is a little bit of a sketchy lead sheet here. No rehearsal letters, got some things written in here. But this is the A melody. This is the B melody. Here's the return of A, and then here's the contrasting C. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Okay, we've discussed 2 common song forms, AABA and ABAC, and I'm going to skip the blues for now in the interest of time. That's a form that perhaps is a little more familiar to the viewer. I'm going to go ahead and move along to Chapter 3, where basic arranging structures are covered, and this begins on page 27 in the book. And in this chapter, there are some roadmaps presented where these common forms are mapped out for you to see. An important word comes up very early in this chapter, and that's textures. And texture refers to the way how something sounds. And there are 4 textures that are suggested. You can take your instruments and write them in unison or in octaves. And of course, depending on which instruments you choose, you'll get a distinctive color from that decision. So it is an important decision. But there are 2 words, homophony and polyphony, that are very important. And homophony is defined as a melody-dominated type of structure where the melody dominates the accompanying lines. The melody is usually on top. A saxophone solo is an excellent example of homophony. Lots of choral writing is in homophony. Polyphony, of course, lots of choral writing is in polyphony as well. Polyphony down here in this box under Greek roots is defined as having many voices, and this is where music is very much seen in a horizontal fashion where lines interact with one another, but they are very independent. Of course, we can combine any of these in our arrangement as well, and that would lead us to a 4th way of doing things. And I actually have divided them even in a more simple way where unison, octave, and homophony could be considered one way of doing things, and then combining that with polyphony is another option for you. These basic structures are outlined in these boxes, and there's one here for ABA swing or medium or up-tempo tune, and here we see where you might have your first A section written in unison or octave, and your second A section would be thickened in some way with harmony or maybe with a counter melody, and if it was a counter melody, that would be a polyphonic texture. And then the bridge here, the B section, probably should contrast in some way as far as texture. And then a good thing to do is the last A section can be exactly like the second A section. Okay, now that we've looked at a roadmap of a possible solution to an AABA song form, I'd like to go ahead and take a look at an example. And this is the tune "Why Not Now." This is from chapter 2, where the example tunes that I've written for the book are all laid out in lead sheet form. There's 3 tunes in this chapter presented. There's a 4th tune that's a blues that's presented in chapter 16, where I talk about common problems and then I propose some solutions. But "Why Not Now" will be a good vehicle for us to see some different versions. You can see that we have an A melody here. We have the repeat of the melody, the A melody. Here's the bridge, and then here's the final A section. Notice these are rehearsal letters. Don't let that confuse you. The form is A, B, A. Okay, let's go ahead and take a listen to it, and this is a vibes playing the melody and along with rhythm section. Okay, now that we've listened to just the melody of the tune, let's go ahead and look at a couple of arrangements. And what I have on the screen here is a version or a lead sheet of "Why Not Now," but this is actually from chapter 11. It's on page 220, and you can see here there's some notes written in here of maybe possibilities for an arrangement. And here it says here that perhaps the horns could be written in unison here. A suggestion is made here that the alto could be in harmony, a third lower, which corresponds to what's presented over here or suggested over here in this chart that we looked at before. The bridge, it says do something contrasting, and here it says that Perhaps I could have guide tones, which we'll talk about in a subsequent video. Guide tones in alto with contrary motion. There's a scale figure that's suggested here. Back down in the last A section here, it suggested that this be exactly like what was done here in the second statement of the melody, as is suggested in the chart here. So again, let's go ahead and take a listen to Why Not Now, and this is with trumpet, alto, and rhythm section. Okay, we heard that this followed the format that I suggested in these notes. The score actually is in a couple pages later. Okay, so you can, of course, follow along with the actual notes. This is written in concert pitch. There's another version of it, and this is what I've done with these tunes. I've written them in two ways, in those two textures I talked about earlier, the unison or homophonic version, and then a version that combines these different textures. On page 226, you see another version, and here we have the alto alone playing the melody, and trumpet comes in here with a cut mute on an independent line. So this is a polyphonic version, okay? And you can see it's a line that sort of fills in the holes of the melody, which is a common approach. Again, I'll talk about that in another video. Here, this is the bridge, and notice the trumpet takes the melody here, which is a common technique to provide contrast. And here it says DS, and the DS takes you back to letter B. And so, once again, the last A section is the same as the second A section. Okay, same instrumentation. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this version. Okay, well, those are two different versions of Why Not Now, two different treatments that both pretty much followed this roadmap suggested from Chapter 3. Thank you for viewing this video. There'll be more to come, and I hope you enjoy the book. Thank you.